You think the desert is silent? But in this story, the silence is what kills. Released quietly in 2024, The Silent Dunes is one of those underrated survival thrillers that feels almost too real, a haunting mix of science fiction, family drama, and the terrifying consequences of human experiments buried under sand. The Lost Road. Michael Hartley had always loved road trips. He believed that the best way to reconnect with your family was to escape the noise. No phones, no emails, no city lights, just the open road. So when he, his wife Sarah, and their two kids, 10-year-old Jack and 12-year-old Emma, set out on a weekend journey across the Nevada desert, it felt like a fresh start. The sun was hanging low, throwing waves of orange light across endless sand. Jack had his camera out the window, filming tumbleweeds rolling by. Emma had her earbuds in, mouthing the words to a pop song. Everything was calm. But deserts have a strange way of turning peaceful silence into something menacing. The GPS signal flickered once, then vanished. Michael frowned, tapped the screen. No signal, he muttered. We'll be fine. Roads are marked out here. Sarah glanced around. No signs, no cars, not even tire tracks. Only dunes. As the sun dipped lower, shadows stretched long and thin across the sand. By the time they realized they had taken a wrong turn, it was too late. The road had disappeared behind them. Maybe we should turn back, Sarah said. But the moment Michael turned the ignition, the engine coughed and died. That silence, that heavy, consuming silence, fell over everything. Even the wind had stopped. Jack looked up from the back seat. Dad, it's like the desert stopped breathing. Michael tried to fix the car while Sarah unpacked the tent. The air was cooling fast, and the night sky filled with a million cold stars. Jack filmed everything with his camcorder, saying it's like space, but made of sand. They ate granola bars by a small lantern, laughing nervously. But sometime after midnight, Sarah froze. She heard something faint, scratching, like nails dragging under the ground. Michael turned off the lantern. The sound stopped. They waited. Nothing. Then the sound returned. Closer this time. Michael grabbed his flashlight and swept the beam across the sand. The dunes shimmered, soft and untouched. But for just a second, thought he saw a ripple, like something shifting beneath the surface. He told himself it was the wind. But there was no wind. The air was dead still. By morning, strange marks had appeared around their camp long. Curved lines, too deep to be snake trails, too wide to be made by any small creature. Maybe coyotes, Michael said. Though his voice betrayed him, they packed up quickly, hoping to find a highway by noon. But every direction looked the same. Sand, heat, and silence. The next night, Emma woke up screaming. Her sleeping bag was moving. Michael ripped it open. Nothing inside. But the ground beneath was trembling. A low rumble spread under the camp, like thunder trapped underground. And then the sand broke open. A massive black claw ripped out of the ground, followed by a body that shimmered like metal under the moon. It was a scorpion, but not like any they had seen before. Its body was the size of a motorcycle, its eyes glowing red, its stinger dripping something that hissed on the sand like acid. Michael grabbed his family and ran toward the SUV. He tried the ignition again. Dead. Dozens of shapes moved under the sand, circling them. The dunes were alive. Sarah screamed, "Michael, what are those things?" He didn't know. They sprinted through the darkness, guided only by the dim glow of the stars, the ground shaking beneath every step. Then, in the distance, a flicker of light. A tower, half buried, with the faint outline of a fence. Michael shouted, "There, run." They reached it just as another scorpion burst from the ground behind them. Throwing a wave of sand into the air, they stumbled into the structure, an old, rusted military compound. Faded warning signs read, "Biotest site classified, keep out." The gates were bent, half swallowed by dunes. Inside were rusted vehicles, broken equipment, and skeletons of old machines. The air smelled like chemicals and dust. Sarah found an old file cabinet, its drawers jammed with soggy papers. One label caught her eye, Project Sandspine. 1972. The files described a failed experiment to weaponize desert scorpions by exposing them to radiation and synthetic metals. The creatures were meant to adapt, survive, and control hostile environments. But the project was shut down after biological instability. Michael whispered, "They didn't die. They adapted." Just then, Jack pointed. "Dad, look." At the doorway stood a fox, small, with glowing amber eyes and a sleek metallic shine under its fur. It stared at them, tilting its head, unafraid. Emma whispered, "It's beautiful." Michael tried to scare it off, but the fox didn't move. Instead, it turned and started walking slowly away, stopping every few steps to look back. As if saying, "Follow me," they followed. Through the twisted remains of the base, down into a collapsed tunnel. The air grew cooler, the smell of machinery stronger. The fox slipped through a narrow gap, and they crawled after it, emerging into a hidden underground bunker. Lights flickered faintly. Shelves of supplies lined the walls, canned food, oxygen tanks, even an emergency radio. The fox sat by the far wall, watching. Michael grabbed the radio, turned it on. Static. Then a faint voice. "Rescue patrol. Copy, signal weak. Location." He shouted coordinates, repeating them until the battery died. Sarah sank to the ground, shaking. "If that signal went through?" Michael nodded. "They'll come." Hours later, as dawn broke, the fox stood up, walked toward the exit tunnel, and vanished into the dunes. The rescue helicopter arrived by afternoon, guided by the faint ping of the distress signal. As they lifted off, Michael looked down. The dunes shimmered again, faintly moving beneath the wind. Back at the bunker, Sarah noticed something on the wall that she hadn't seen before. Words scratched into metal. Project FOX Artificial Intelligence Enhancement Unit. 1972. Her heart stopped. The fox wasn't real. It was an abandoned military prototype, an AI-animal hybrid designed to survive harsh conditions. To think, to protect. The project was never completed, but somehow the desert had preserved it. And now, 50 years later, it had done what it was built for: save human life. As the helicopter carried them away, Emma asked softly, "Do you think it'll be okay?" "The fox?" Michael smiled faintly. "I think it's home." The camera panned down far below. Between the dunes, the fox reappeared, standing on a ridge as the helicopter faded into the horizon. Its eyes glowed once, like a machine powering back on, before it disappeared into the golden wind. And as the desert fell silent again, the question lingered. If the sand could hide secrets like this for 50 years, what else might still be sleeping beneath it? The Silent Dunes isn't just a survival story. It's a haunting reminder that humanity's experiments never truly disappear. Sometimes they just wait, buried, silent, until the world forgets. If you enjoyed this story and want more breakdowns of underrated survival thrillers, make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment what you'd do if you were trapped in that desert, because in the Silent Dunes, silence isn't peace. It's warning.